Caribou Sana, and welcome to a very special edition of Not in the News. In fact, it's an Out in Africa edition. I am lucky enough to be filming this, or hopefully most of this, in Kenya, where I've come along with Barry and P, the CEO, Georgina Lamb of the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation, to visit the Pangolin Project based in the Mara. The Pangolin Project was set up 2 years ago by Dr. Claire Akel and is all about protecting the pangolin in their habitat. She now has a team of 13 working in all different aspects of their project. So many of you will be wondering whether we were lucky enough to see this elusive creature. Certainly a species on my safari bucket list, and something that many of you will know I've been very excited about for a very long time, and I'm not actually going to answer that question. You will have to wait and see at the end. So what is the project about? Well, it's about protecting pangolins in their own habitat, and this really is a core objective of all the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation projects, wherever they are, across Africa and Asia. But for pangolins, that doesn't just mean within the Maasai Mara itself, but it also involves the conservancies and communities around the edge of the Mara and beyond. So this project is far-reaching. It has many elements to it, and during this issue I'm just going to try and share with you some of the work that Claire and her team are doing. It starts with the research. There are 5 tracked pangolins at the moment out of the 10 individuals that they have been able to identify. Tracking a pangolin is not easy. They come out just on the cusp of nighttime falling, which therefore makes them very difficult to see. So the VHF tracker is very important. The VHF tracker can not only track the pangolin once it's out of the burrow, but it can also let the team know whether there is a pangolin in the burrow. Now, it's not always effective because actually the burrows can be of a real variety of sizes, even up to 18 feet, and can have many different chambers to it, and other entrances. They're often shared by other species, which is also very interesting to find out. And then that is part of the purpose of the camera traps. The camera trap allows the team to see the activities of the pangolins and other species that might be using the burrows. The burrows can be a real complex system of chambers, and in fact it has been known to hold up to 27 different varieties of other animals, insects, bats, tortoises, and other creatures sharing the same hole. And as you will see from some footage and photographs later, actually finding an active pangolin burrow is more difficult than you might think. But once found, the camera traps are able to be put out and all this data collected. And once it becomes known that there is a pangolin in it, then the team can go out and either add it to the tracking devices or just follow it from a distance on foot. The camera trap so far data has showed that we have 2 females in the area with pups. So one of the females is on her 4th pup since 2019, which is absolutely fantastic. They clearly know where these burrows are because they are known to scout the burrows before they actually choose to move a pup, and they move burrows between 2 to 5 days, so on a regular basis. Again, you can see why it is difficult for the team to locate the pangolins when they want to check on their welfare, and why VHF trackers and camera traps are really important. It would appear that the males tend to be the pangolin that goes in search of the female, and the baby pangolin, when it's born, will probably not appear out from the burrow for at least 6 months. It suckles from the mother with milk up to the 4 months. The baby pangolin scales are actually much softer and therefore makes them more vulnerable to predators, and could harden up any time between 6 months to a year. The team have set up between 38 and 40 camera traps so far. Would really like to get close to double this number in order to get the data that they need. It's a wide area that they try to cover, and at night it makes it incredibly hard to access this area safely as well. So when the team, such as Joel, goes out, he will have somebody making sure that they spot from the top of the truck a wide area, and he will also go out with a ranger with a gun. So this is the most amazing opportunity and experience to be able to walk in the Mara. If you can see, I'm going to bring you around to the team behind me. Barry's marking a possible pangolin burrow, and then you've got the rest of the team over here marking another one. And if I turn all the way around, you'll get to see Tony up behind. As you can see, there's really not a lot in sight, but we have been traversing the Mara and stopping every time we see a suitable sized hole and marking it on GPS. Not many people get this opportunity, and it's been absolutely amazing, along with the rest of the experiences that we've been doing. The team are fabulous, they work incredibly hard, and so wonderful to get this opportunity.
Sorry, so one thing, in terms of what we mean by a burrow, okay? So depressions in the ground, no. Anything with that's more than 10 centimeters, effectively. So yeah, exactly. Anything bigger than that is a burrow entrance. Even if you can see it as a blind end. So what they do is they dig into them. So if we came back in 3 months' time, be open. Is that okay?
So as you can tell, continuing to record the special edition of Not in the News, the Pangolin edition set in Kenya. You can see that the venue has changed, and I'm having to do it in chunks because being on safari and being out in Africa is both very busy and also very hot in the afternoons when you are having a bit of quiet time. But I did want to include a few more facts and figures and a little bit more information about what I found out when we were in the Mara. Interestingly, a female pangolin appears to have an actual home range. I did say that they changed burrows every 2 to 3 days, and that they clearly knew where the burrows were because they scouted them out before moving their baby pup there. But they actually would appear to have a home range which does border another pangolin and may even slightly overlap. They're not known to fight, but the males will actually become aggressive with each other if they are after the same female pangolin, and they're the ones that tend to move around finding the female pangolin to mate with. And so the mating season for pangolins is generally April to May. Gestation period about 3 months, so born around the September time, and then after about 4 months after that, that's when the team actually see the pups coming out of the burrows independently of their mums, and often following them initially and then going off and doing their own thing. It will be interesting to see whether those babies then stay in contact with their mums, or in fact they actually go off and find their own territory, and that's obviously further data for the team to research. So one of Claire's team, Joel, actually started off as a community ambassador for his local village, and it was very interesting chatting to him about the stories that he'd gathered from the local elders with regards stories and pangolins. So I thought I'd really like to share some of these tales and traditions with you. It makes it become more alive when you realise pangolins do actually play a part in the history of the area as much as being present at this time. So here are some of the tales and traditions that Joel shared with us surrounding pangolins. So they believe that if you see one, that you will live longer. If you come across a pangolin, to build a boma, so an enclosure around it with sticks or grass that actually has 8 gateways. 8 gates are a sign of a wealthy man, and by protecting the pangolin with this temporary boma, therefore you are protecting the pangolin in the hope that he will therefore protect you and make you a wealthy man. In South Sudan, they actually place a thread of clothing underneath a scale of a pangolin when they see it as a sign of good luck. And in the days when the different tribes would travel across the area to reclaim cattle from an alternative tribe, then if they were to come across a pangolin on the way, they knew that their reclaiming would be successful. Now, as eras have changed, so all these very positive stories about the reasons that you shouldn't kill it and why you should look after it because it brings good luck and long life have not been successfully passed down through the generations, and so therefore the community ambassadors supported by Claire's Pangolin Project are out there to try and encourage that new positive way of looking at the species. So here we are, last evening in the African bush, which is always sad, but does mean that I can obviously return. I needed to actually tell you whether I got to see any pangolins. In fact, we did. We got to see a mum, Pamoja, which means together, and her pup. We saw them on one evening, and we got to see mum again later. So I will share those photographs and a little bit of video with you at the end. As you can see, it's a bit breezy in the bush this evening, but the elephant is enjoying a drink at the waterhole. This really is last night in Africa. As you can see, the last African campfire, gin and tonic, very special place. Perini Amboseli had an amazing time. As it's the end of the pangolin video, of course it's a big ask. It's a big ask to think about how you pick your holiday, to think about the company that you book through, your carbon footprint. The Woodland Trust have an excellent part of their app, which means you can work out the cost so you can offset your flights, and of course, as this is a pangolin special for World Pangolin Day, then please consider donating to either the Pangolin Project, the link is below, and the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation as well. Thank you for watching yet again, and I hope you enjoy this video.